All right, let's look at plane geometry 1.15, the circle. A circle is a closed curve in a plane, all of whose points are equally distant from a fixed point in the plane called the center. All right, so we have a circle on the board. We all know what a circle looks like. But this is not a circle. That's not a circle. And the reason being is I can do the best I can to try to draw a circle free-handed. The problem is when I put my point in the middle, it's not truly equally distant from all the points on that circle. All right, so if I were to measure with a compass from here to here and then do it from here to here, there'd be a difference. That means it's not a circle. Circles for geometry need to be precise. I used a compass to make this one. The center is equally distanced from any point on this circle that I did. All right. Generally, the center, we refer to that as point O. Kind of like on the Cartesian plane, O generally stands for origin. You'll see we use the point O a lot. All right, so about circles. Some key words. Make sure that you can give a good definition of the circle. All right, we also are going to talk about circumference. Most of this is not going to be words you've never heard before. Circumference is the perimeter of the circle. The semi-circumference is 1/2 the length of the circumference. So if I start at this point and I go all the way around, the distance around, that would be my circumference. All right, semi-circumference would be if I started at one point and I went 180 degrees around that circle. That would give me my semicircle. That's half of the circumference. All right, let's talk about diameter. Diameter is a line through the center with its ends on the circle. So if I take a protractor and I make a line that goes through the center point, through that point O, and touches on both ends, that would be my diameter. It's the distance across the circle through the origin, through the point, or center point. You know what diameter is. Radius is the distance from the center to any point on the edge. All right, so there's an infinite number of diameters, there's a infinite number of radii. I could have gone this way, any way I wanted to on the radius. The diameter is 1. The radius in relationship to the diameter is half. The radius is always 1/2 of the diameter. A chord could be confused with a diameter, except for a chord is a line that goes through the circle, but it doesn't necessarily go through the center. So the diameter is technically a chord because it does touch. Here's a chord. I go from any point on the circle, touching another point on that circle, that would give me a chord. So a diameter satisfies the definition of a chord, but a chord is not necessarily a diameter. You need to know what a chord is. An arc is any portion of a circle, so it's part of the circumference. So maybe I have point A to point B. from here to here, that would be an arc. It's a length of the circle. So we need to know what arc is. This arc length would be written like, kind of like a line would be. So we have AB, and instead of having a line over it, we're going to have a curve. That's the arc length from A to B. That's how we would represent that. Semicircle. You can probably guess what a semicircle is based off of semicircumference. A semicircle is an arc length that goes halfway across the circle. So if I was to go from A straight across here to C, the arc length from A to C is a semicircle. All right, and lastly, a quadrant. Quad means 4, so there'd be 4 quadrants in a circle. That is a quarter of the circle. So it's the arc which represents a quarter of a circle. So if I go, we'll do it this way. Let's go from C. That means I'm going to go 90 degrees over right here. We'll call this D. So the arc from C to D is a quadrant. All right, so exercises 1.15, you got 12, it looks like. Yeah, 12 different ones to work on. Just get familiar with circles. I know circles are not something that's new to us, but we really need to be familiar with all these definitions because those are going to be used quite a bit.